You click to find out why TGI Fridays keeps vanishing. You're in the right place. Let's start with the problem. Stores are closing, and not just because of rent. The truth is, when a chain trades fresh prep for pre-cooked, vacuum-sealed shortcuts, you feel it in the check and in your gut. Tonight we'll show you the quiet tells, shrinking menus, microwave-timed ribs, and reheated sides that signal a company cashing in on nostalgia while cutting corners. Stick around, and you'll learn how to spot the slide before you pay steakhouse prices for freezer-lane food. If your favorite Fridays feels half-empty and the lights snap off before you've finished a drink, that story started months earlier in spreadsheets, not at the host stand. Closures don't begin with a padlock. They begin when the math stops working and the value promise breaks. Once that gap opens, the countdown is on. Let's start with the core move chains make when the numbers slide. They pull cash out of weak spots and shrink the map. A wave of closings is a lagging symptom. Sales soften, margins compress, and the brand's deal, what you pay versus what you get, no longer pencils out. The dining room stays cheerful, the P&L does not. There's a split between the brand you remember and the bills they have to pay now. Costs climb. Debt wants its cut. Traffic eases off, even on weekends that used to be automatic. That combo pushes decisions you can't see yet. A neighborhood can look fine and still lose a unit because the rent escalator hit and the comps didn't. You see it first in lease talks that never make it to ink. Renewals get passed on, especially for mid-tier malls where foot traffic drifted to big-box curbside and delivery apps. Older units with big footprints and dated layouts become targets. New prototype stores that were supposed to reset the vibe, those get shelved when lenders tighten terms and demand proof the last rollout worked. Across casual dining, the squeeze is simple. Labor costs rise. Rents rise. Ingredients don't sit still. Traffic drips away as quick service and groceries step up their game. When checks don't stretch, chains trim the portfolio. They don't say panic. They say optimize. The effect is the same. Fewer doors, fewer bets. Think of it like a house with a slow roof leak. You don't see the rot first. You see buckets. Those buckets are the closures. The hole started long before the ceiling fell. By the time a unit goes dark, the company has been moving furniture around the room for months, trying to avoid getting soaked. There are tells long before the locks and notice on the glass. Look for refranchising announcements where the company sells stores to local operators to raise quick cash. Watch for debt chatter and restructuring buzz. Earnings calls swap words like growth for portfolio rationalization and traffic headwinds. That's your weather report. But here's the kicker. The next domino doesn't fall in real estate. It falls in the kitchen. To save a few points of margin, the playbook shifts from craft to convenience. You won't read it in a press release, but you will notice it when the food lands. So keep an eye on early red flags you can feel in your wallet. Sudden happy hour sprawl that runs all week. Coupons that hit your inbox twice in one day. A parade of limited time items that look new but rely on the same base parts. Those are not party favors. They're painkillers. Now let's move on to how the kitchen changed to cut costs and what that does to your plate. What they don't tell you is the biggest menu change isn't a bold new sauce. It's a quiet swap from in-house prep to pre-cooked, vacuum-sealed parts that get reheated and sent out fast. That's the move you taste without seeing. It trims the payroll. It trims training. It turns line cooks into timers. Let's start with the playbook. Scratch prep takes knife skills, time, and a crew that can hold a standard on a busy Friday night. Chains under pressure replace that with items portioned at a plant, sealed in bags, and shipped in bulk. The kitchen's job is to open, heat, and finish. A mark on the grill here, a ladle of sauce there, and it leaves the pass looking close enough. The pitch is simple, consistency and speed. You get the same plate in 10 minutes on a slow Tuesday or a slammed Saturday, but the cost shows up in the bite. Texture flattens. Sauces taste one note. The plate reads full, yet it eats like something pulled from the freezer aisle and staged on a hot plate. Here's how it plays out. Ribs are par-cooked offsite, then reheated and glossed to look fresh. Sides arrive in pouches, mac, mashed, beans, brought to temp and scooped. Sauces show up ready to heat, pumped from a bag into a pan to finish. Desserts thaw to order, which is why the cheesecake is ice cold in the center and soft at the rim. Back of house runs on logs and timers. Central kitchens reduce waste and iron out labor swings, but quality takes the hit. Temperature logs replace taste tests. Hold times decide when food dies, not a chef's eye. The real cook becomes the clock. Hit 165 degrees, plate, garnish, run. It's like buying a bouquet that's already wilted. Once the life is gone, no amount of vase work brings it back. You can spritz the leaves, trim the stems, and find a nice glass jar. It still droops by the time you get home. For you, the math stings. You pay full-service prices for factory food with table service layered on top. There's the host, the bartender, the server, and the tip. The check rivals a neighborhood spot that still chops, stirs, and sears to order. You're paying more for less. You might want to watch for the quiet tells. Menu language shifts to safe, vague lines, tender ribs, seasoned chicken, chef-inspired sauce. Items that once took time now arrive in a flash. Garnishes repeat like a stamp. Steam clouds the table, but the room doesn't smell like sear or fresh herbs. Here's your quick payoff. If the kitchen quotes exact reheat times, if ribs hit the table in minutes, if sauces taste the same in July and January, you're buying speed, not craft. The food follows the clock, not a cook's hand. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Now let's move on to how the menu and the service patterns tip you off before the brand fades from your zip code. If you know where to look, the menu reads like a confession. Not loud, just enough tells to warn you the brand is shaving corners while smiling at the table. The truth is, you can spot the slide long before the closed sign shows up. Let's start with the checklist you can use on your next visit. The menu gets thinner, not just shorter. Whole categories go missing. Soups vanish. Sides collapse into one mixed box. Build your own options turn into fixed bundles. Proteins switch to vague labels. Seasoned chicken, hand-cut steak, smoky ribs, with no farm, cut, or prep listed. The photos look glossy, but the plate that lands in front of you doesn't match the height, the color, or the extras in the picture. That gap is the tell. The brand still sells the weekend vibe, loaded apps, giant plates, a bartender who knows a story for every drink. But the fine print gives it away. Complex dishes arrive too fast to be fresh. The rib plate that used to take a while slides in under 10, still wet with steam, but light on aroma. Burgers carry the same crosshatch, like a stamp. Fries sit stiff, not crisp, as if they traveled in a sealed bag. Service patterns shift when the back is running on timers. Ticket times drop on items that used to demand a cook's attention. The garnish repeats across the whole menu. Same parsley pinch, same drizzle stripe. Servers lean into high-margin picks and quick-fire notes, steering you to whatever the kitchen can reheat and send. Ask for a swap, and you get a no or an upcharge. The flow moves you, not the other way around. You can read the kitchen from your seat. Lots of steam, few fresh smells. Sides arrive blistering hot, yet oddly limp. That's classic reheat texture. Sauces taste the same week after week. Grill marks look printed. Plates leave the pass at the same tempo, no matter how busy the room is. When the rhythm never breaks, the clock is cooking the food. Chains under pressure do this on purpose. They simplify SKUs, cut prep labor, and ride limited time offers to pretend there's variety while the base parts stay the same. That's why the new sandwich shares the same bun, the same sauce, and the same side as last month's promo. It is menu theater, not menu growth. Check the value while you're at it. Portions creep the wrong way. More fries, fewer greens. Upcharges pop up for basics like a side salad or a second sauce. Dessert promos hit hard to lift the check, often with thaw-and-serve slices dressed to look fresh. You leave full, but not impressed. Here's your mini payoff. If the menu shrinks while the upsells grow, if textures feel uniform and timing is laser precise, you're paying a premium for a reheated experience, not a craft kitchen. So what is the takeaway? How do you protect your wallet and your plate before the next round of closings? Here's the real kicker. Closures are the symptom. You taste the disease when freshness gets swapped for factory speed. When the grill becomes a prop and a timer runs the line, your plate tells you the balance sheet is calling the shots. You feel it in flat textures and same-note sauces. You pay more, get less. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still pays steakhouse prices for microwave timing. You know the red flags now. Use them, save your money, and we'll keep digging into the next chain quietly fading out.